ShartimusPrime, ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it. Taking bad hits, taking bash hits. Subscribe. Oh yeah, time to kick it into HD, baby. Yeah. Click that button at the bottom right, wait for it to load. Hey, what's up you guys, ShartimusPrime here doing another Transformers review on the Maketoys Giant, aka Devastator. This is the Constructicons set from Maketoys. Gotta give a big thanks to Incline Designs, one of the best Transformers customizers in the world. I consider him to be the best. Subscribe to his channel, you'll not regret it, and check eBay for his auctions. I'll have a link in the description. Unlike the TFC Devastator, all of these come in one box. The TFC Devastator pieces all came in different packaging, so you had to buy them all separately. This is about half the price as the TFC version. It's I think around $350, and it was $100 a piece for the TFC figures right there. So I just want to show off the packaging right here. It comes with two different heads, and there he is as Devastator. Well, not completely combined, and you can see the different Constructicons. And there he is completed right there. Aside from getting all 6 Constructicons, you also get this instruction booklet right here, which is very cool. It has some art in the middle of the booklet right there, and bunch of things. These are some of the other figures from Maketoys. So you have Excavator, which is Scavenger, Dump Truck, which is Long Haul, Wheel Loader, which is Scrapper, you have Mixer, which is Mixmaster, Mobile Crane, which is Hook, and then Bulldozer, which is Bone Crusher. Giant, which is Devastator. Now when you open up Giant, all of the figures come in their parts ready to be transformed into Devastator, but I'm going to start this review off with all of them in their alt modes. And all of them are carrying pieces with them that have the Devastator parts, so there's nothing loose except for that head right there. This Devastator comes with an extra head, so I just decided to throw him into Scrapper right there. So you can have them all in their alt modes with all the Devastator parts, except for that extra head. So let's take our first look at Scavenger right here. First thing I gotta say about the entire set that I absolutely love is the color choice. This green is perfect Constructicon green. If you want to compare it to a G1 Constructicon, this is actually, technically this is a reissue, but it's the same exact kind of plastic. I do have a long haul, G1 long haul, and it is the same color right here, and even with the G1s they changed color right here on the crane part. So I think that is very cool. I absolutely love that. Unlike the TFC version, and I will be comparing this set to the TFC set a lot, this has a much more vibrant green, and I'm not as much of a fan of this color green as this one right here. One thing the TFC one does have, or a couple of things the TFC one does have, is that he has little wheels underneath the bottom right here. This guy does not have any kind of rolling function underneath on the treads right here. Another thing I like is that this guy has functioning pistons. This is the TFC version, so you can see that. This one does not have the piston function at all, so that doesn't move. And the articulation is a little bit less. So he moves right here, but the shovel itself does not move. But not a big deal. It's very G1 looking. It's a lot more G1 looking than the TFC version, so you know, that is a big plus. I do like that a lot. Another thing that I really like is the canopy is very G1 looking, and this does have a lot more decals on it. Actually, this TFC version barely has any decals at all. I mean, we have some lights right there and some silver on the pipes and whatnot, but we have these arrow thing, or not arrows, but these emergency warning thingies right here and right here. Some nice silver on them. More on the other side. So I do like that. I like that a lot. This is a very cool looking Transformer. I really dig it. This is the gun that's supposed to be for Scavenger, and they kind of confused me as far as which one's supposed to either go with Bone Crusher. You know, they switch it up in the directions, but you know, I'm just gonna have him with this. And he has these 2 tabs stick out on either side, and there's these slots right here, and you can just plug them in, which is, you know, not always so easy, but it's not too much of a pain in the ass. It works actually a little better on this side. You could fold this in like that or have it out, doesn't matter. So because I don't want to make an hour-long video, I'm gonna skip the transformations on all of these and just talk about them later. So let's take us away, Bumblebee. Here we have Scavenger in his robot mode. Whee, that was fast, right? Very cool looking robot mode. Again, you know, same kind of details. What I didn't mention when he was in his alt mode is that they have this gunmetal kind of plastic right here running down in the middle of the treads, and then you have this solid black right here, which is very cool. I like the head sculpt. Looks pretty damn nice. Looking pretty cool. I dig that. I dig that. There's the gun attached to the side. There's another clip on his forearm that this pegs into. Oh, see, this is kind of, now sometimes it's tricky plugging these things in and out, or actually removing them, but there's a peg, or actually that's a peg hole, there's a peg, and it just goes in right there. So it goes in pretty easily, but doesn't come out as easily. It's always hard to pull out, isn't it always hard? Another cool thing about Scavenger's gun is that you could slide this out so you can have these barrels come out right here, but it looks kind of strange. It doesn't stick out anymore, which would have been cooler. It just scoots back more. See? But yeah, so there's the, there's the body. He has this piece right here which forms part of the bicep of Devastator, but it's not too bad. It's not too intrusive or anything. I think it looks pretty cool, and I really like the articulation of these guys. Oh, and by the way, I really like how they have this silver right here coming through the middle. That's very G1-esque. So here's the G1 Scavenger. And, even though this, is there's his wiener, even though this doesn't have any particular function, they just put it there to make it resemble the G1 figure, which I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was very cool. And here he is compared to the TFC X-Graver. And yeah, so the X-Graver is definitely a lot larger. Here he is compared to Transformers Classics Starscream. So Starscream does seem a little short. There he is next to Classics Ratchet, which does look like they're in perfect scale together. So this actually does look like it's in better scale with the Classics than the TFC figures do. So for the articulation of this guy, his head rotates side to side. It moves up and down only a little bit like that. He has arm articulation that moves all the way up this way due to the transformation. He also has separate articulation right here on this ball right here, so he can move forward and outward like so. He has an upper swivel right there under the shoulder. He has double jointed elbows, again due to the transformation. And he has wrist articulation, and I forgot to trim this inward like how it's supposed to go. So there that is. And he has a little bit of an ab crunch, again due to the transformation, so that's pretty neat. And he does have a waist joint, which is very cool. His legs move outward about that much, not much more than that, move forward very far. You can bend at the knee. You just got to make sure that this green part right here on the calf is, sticking outside of this right here. So you could bend that pretty far. Looks pretty good. And he has a ball joint right here on his foot, and he also has this heel, which is very cool. I like that they gave him that. It can move up due to the transformation, and you could rotate this side to side, and he has an ankle pivot, so that is just gorgeous. One really funny thing that they show you can do in the directions is that you can attach the Devastator hands to Scavenger here, which is really funny. He has these handles that come out on the sides right here, and they just plug into the fists of Scavenger himself, so you can have these giant fists, which is kind of funny to me because I always saw Scavenger as kind of like the pussy of the group, but he's making a comeback, bitch! Oh! And here is Long Haul, and his wheels roll very nicely. I like that a lot. Looking pretty slick, and as you can see, he has all the bits right here attached to him. I call these two chromed out pieces right here pistons, even though they're not really pistons. I don't know exactly what they do yet. We'll figure that out as we go. And we also have the chest plate of Devastator right here. The two wings are tucked in underneath, and they peg in nicely into the fists. And here's the wheels. Now one cool thing, and then there's the gun on the side, so it still rolls even if the gun's kind of rubbing against this front wheel right here, but it's not too bad. Again, love the Constructicon green that they have for this guy, like the silver inside the hubcaps right there. Again with these decal thingies, some really cool applications right here. I like that. I like this gunmetal look. Again, some black. Very nice. He does not have the dumping function, which isn't, too much of a bummer because the TFC one didn't have that either. Now, removing these pieces up here, these two, is a big pain in the ass. So for right now, I just kind of gently put them in there. So if you shove them into these peg holes too hard, you're going to have a pain in the ass because the leverage is just, the leverage on those parts are pretty weak. Then pulling this out isn't very fun either. Again, big thanks to Incline Designs for letting me, manhandle his brand new figure. So there's the chest plate for Devastator, as you can see right there, and then these two piston thingies, which will also form a cool weapon, and they go onto the back of Devastator as well. So here's just the dump truck all by himself. One thing that's pretty neat is that due to the transformation, you can move these tires around like so. So if you want him displayed, make it look like he's making a churn, you can do that. So I think that's pretty cool. So here he is compared to the G1 long haul. You can see they got the canopy on the right side and everything. Looks pretty cool. One thing is that he doesn't have the double tires right here in the back like this one does, which isn't too much of a big deal. And you can see how the G1 has the dumping function, which isn't actually too much of a legitimate dumping function because the tires move up too. And to compare him to the TFC long haul right here, I have this gun sitting on top of him. You don't really need that. But one thing Incline had mentioned was that this guy is actually a little bit wider than the TFC version, if not they're the same. The TFC version stands a bit taller, so you know that's one downfall of the TFC version, is that the waist is too small. I also do like the overall look of this guy more so than the TFC version. It's just so much bulkier right here. They hid this pretty well on this guy, even though these two pieces are sticking out pretty blatantly. So let's get this guy transformed into his robot mode. Take us away, Bumblebee! Yeah. So here's Long Haul in his robot mode. Looks pretty damn cool. I like it. I like it. Here he is standing next to Scavenger. I think he stands a little taller than Scavenger. Oh no, Scavenger's a little tall. Get the legs spread out. They're about the same size. He's a little bit taller actually. But anyway, this guy does look very, very cool. He's very husky looking. I like that. I mean, that's very suiting for a dump truck character. So I think that's really cool. I like the color variations in the legs right here. You have some gray, black, and then you have these green knee pads and everything. You can still see the headlights and stuff. I like the head sculpt on this guy as well. Very cool. Reminds me of the G1 long haul for sure. Here's the G1 head sculpt. So they both have that indentation going on in the middle right there. So that works. And here's the TFC long haul right there. One thing I didn't mention is that the TFC figures do have light piping on all the eyes, which is a cool bonus, but these guys do not. They're just painted in there. Regardless, this is very cool. And then there's the pistons. You could attach them to the back right here. There's the long haul butt, and yeah, I just think overall this looks very, very cool. I really do like it. I like his gun a lot more than Scavenger's too. I think the gun is very cool. Long haul's articulation, his head can move back and up a little bit. It kind of sinks down due to the transformation itself. It can move side to side. He has a shoulder rotation that can go in and out due to the transformation. He also has standard shoulder articulation, move outward, move forward. He has this upper bicep rotation right up here. He has he does not have double jointed elbows. He can only move once like that. I mean, there's two joints right there, but there's this little peg that sticks out and it kind of hinders the articulation from being able to do that. His wrist moves side to side. He has waist articulation like there. He has hip articulation that can move outward that far, move forward pretty far. He has this lower knee joint. Doesn't bend too much, but it's not too bad or anything. And he does have ankle rotation that moves side to side and up a little bit. Doesn't really move down. One thing I kind of don't like about this figure is that he is tricky to stand. He does not stand nearly as well as Scavenger. So as comparison with G1 Long Haul, TFC Long Haul, Classics Ratchet, Classic Starscream. One other thing I forgot to mention is that this shield or the chest plate thing there's no real place where you could put it on the back or anything so that he can carry it around with him, so, or conceal it anyway. Yeah, so I don't really know where to hide this. Now here's Bone Crusher. Way cooler looking than the TFC Bone Crusher for sure. This guy has his hand sticking out right here, which of course you could remove, which makes it look a little bit better, but still it's quite clumpy. Now this Maketoys one is just way better looking. Again, love the green, just absolutely love the green. There's his gun attached to his side, even removing the gun. I think that looks very, very cool. I like this very much. Again, variation of this gunmetal color and the black right there, and a lot of these decals right here. Very, very cool. Again, nothing to wheel him around, you know, this is all just solid treads right here, so, you know, it would be nice if they added little wheels, like how they do have on the bottom of the TFC version. Here he is compared to the G1 Bone Crusher, which, you know, I always liked how this was all completely green right here. That's pretty cool. This moves up and down right here. Then on this guy, it just pivots down here. Again, as I had mentioned, this piston actually functions properly. But then one thing is that these pieces are kind of, you know, it's not as super stable as I'd want them to be. Yeah, super stable. But I really, again, love the color choices on here. You got some silver right up here. You got these white stripes going on. Some of these logos right here. Very, very cool. Like this a lot. Very nice. So let's get him transformed into robot mode. So here's Bone Crusher in his robot mode. To be honest, this is the most disappointing one so far as the robot mode goes. I think he's got, there's not enough going on right here at the top, but especially for this character, he's supposed to be the rageaholic, badass kind of, you know, let me at him kind of guy, and, you know, I don't know, I just think he kind of looks a little on the puny side. I don't know, I'm not totally feeling it. Here he is compared to the G1 Bone Crusher. You can see, you know, Bone Crusher right here is very top heavy, and then the TFC Bone Crusher, they went ahead and, you know, bulked him up as well, so he's pretty bulky up top, but this guy's just a little, you know, petite. The transformation is a little bit similar to the Scavenger, especially the leg areas. There's no real reason to, you know, try to be unique on that, you know, it's not a complaint or anything, just an observation, but the transformation isn't too bad on this guy, and, you know, overall, it's not a bad looking robot mode. I just think for this character, I would have liked to see him a little bit, you know, a bit more bulky. So his articulation, his head moves up a little bit. Actually, you can go back that far, yeah, so it's not too much. You can move forward a bit more due to the transformation. Move side to side, okay. He has shoulders right here that move outward, move forward. He has a bicep swivel right here. He has double jointed elbows. He has wrist rotation. He has a little bit of waist rotation right there. One thing that's kind of weird about this transformation are the flaps, you know, the part of the shovel. You could guess fold it up like that, but it's going to look kind of weird sticking behind him. The directions show you to just leave him like this. So that's another thing that I'm not too much of a fan of on this robot mode, is that I don't really like how they conceal the shovel. You can move the legs out that far forward. You can bend them at the knee. Same thing with Scavenger. You got to watch this green plastic part. And he has ankle pivot. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I dig it. One thing I do like is the variety of colors on the arms. This is actually really neat. You have 3 different colors of gray going on here. You have like a gunmetal, shiny gray. You have this silver paint. You have a solid gray, and then you have the gunmetal again at the top. I think that's pretty dope. I like that. And you have the white stripe. So that's 4 different colors. I think that's pretty sick. And yeah, there's the back right there, pretty clumpy. I guess I can get that a little closer, but still, you know, not too bad, not too bad. And then there's his gun, which attaches the same exact way as it does for Scavenger. So here we have Mixmaster. Very cool. I think the wheels roll very nice. We got all the wheels rolling around all over the place. Very cool. I like that. One thing I don't think is so cool is that the cement mixer does not actually spin around or anything. That's just kind of locked into place right there. But, you know, pretty cool looking, you know, pretty good looking cement truck. You know, I like it. You know, you got purple windows. Nice choice. Nice color choice. You have his gun plugged into the side right there. There's a tab right here. There's that hole right there. It goes in okay. See some more of these decals that we're familiar with. Ooh, do you see the sparkles? See the sparkles? Love the sparkles. Very nice. Now this guy has this piece right here that you can use to attach the fist. Doesn't matter which one you use, but you know, here's the fist piece, or the forearm and the fist. The fist is actually inside here, so you could just open that and you can see there's the fist in there. Alright, so this has some wheels underneath it, some nice silver right here, you got some gray. Again, with these handle pieces that come out so you can have Scavenger hold them, so you can have giant fists, I guess. But you can see there's this tiny little tab piece right there, hole. I keep calling the tabs holes, and there's a tab sticking out right there. And you plug that in. There you go. And now you have a little trailer for Mixmaster. Look at that. Whee. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It works out pretty well. Not too bad, not too bad, you know? So yeah, it works. I like it. It's not pretty clever. I'm digging it. Here's Mixmaster compared to his G1 mode. Or G1 mode. The G1 version anyway. So, very similar. Not too bad. Again, you know, see this one spins. This one do not. No spinny. Here he is next to the TFC mode. TFC mode. Why do I keep saying mode? TFC version of Mixmaster. This one do spinny. Very nice. I like that a lot. This guy's a little bit on the long side, the TFC version. This one is, you know, more built like a solid cement truck, which I do like. I think that's cool. Again, this G1 Constructicon green, just absolutely love it, man. Very, very, very cool. This green, I just wish I could get this repainted to just be a different green color. And he has a little bit of articulation going like this, so you can turn him around like that. I think that's due to the ankle pivot when he's in giant mode. But yeah, so let's turn this guy into his robot mode. Here's Mixmaster in his robot mode. Wow, so far, this is the sickest robot mode I've seen out of all of these guys. He is beast. He stands a lot taller than Long Haul over here. And he stands taller than Bone Crusher and Scavenger. So far he's the biggest one. Just a very, very cool looking figure, just overall. I really like everything about it. It's just a very cool looking figure. What I especially like about this guy is the design that they put on his chest right here. I think that's very, very cool. Very much reminds me of this G1 design right here, and I can't remember if it was like this on the cartoon or not. I'm sure that's something they're trying to replicate. Not 100% sure. One thing that is kind of funny is that he does have the Peter Criss whiskers right there, which is kind of funny. You Kiss fans know what I'm talking about. Even though I'm not really a Kiss fan myself or anything, but you know, I play the drums, so I gotta know these guys. Anyway, so the figure is cool. I just think this part right here is a little weird, but it's not too bad because the foot seems to be in pretty decent line with the thighs, but this transforms in a way where, you know, you have this kind of thing going on, which isn't too much of a problem. It's not too bad. It's not like it's out of alignment or anything, so it's just kind of weird having a triangle stick out, you know, in the front and back of this, but not a big deal at all. I just think this is a really cool looking robot mode. Very cool. And I really like how the head is quite movable underneath this canopy thing right here, which you can't move around at all, but you can move the head side to side fairly easily, so that's pretty cool. He has a rotation that moves in and out like that. You can move it upward and forward as well. He has bicep articulation. He has a strong elbow joint right there. He has no wrist articulation at all. His waist can move side to side and around, so this is on the main pivot of the figure, so he can crunch forward a little bit and back and like that. Whee! So yeah, that's pretty cool. He has upper thigh articulation like this, and a swivel right there. Of course, he could bend at the knee. Ooh, bends pretty far. And the ankle actually has a pivot too. Isn't that neat? So you can rotate this, shimmy this left and right a little bit, and it has, you know, some rocking capabilities too. So very cool. Another thing I really like is that they did give him heels. So that's also part of the transformation, is that he has some heels right there. I think that's pretty dope. Just really like the colors on this. Just the overall look of this guy looks pretty damn beast. Another thing you could do is store the fists of Devastator right over here. So if you have no place to put him in the robot mode, you can put that one right there. And shoot, you might as well put the other one there too. I don't know, it looks like he has these jetpacks on now. Doesn't that look cool though? I think that's really cool. If you're going to add a lot of stuff, I mean, it's got to be around the shoulders area if it's going to be a transformer. That's what I say anyway. I just think that looks pretty damn beast. Beast! Here he is compared to the TFC Mixmaster, and you can see that they're about the same size, which is kind of a trip. Now, this guy, he has his cement barrel right here that you can split apart, and you can add all these guns all over the place and whatnot. Or I could like try to kick this up right here to make him look a little bit bigger. So I don't have all the accessories attached to this guy, but this guy has every accessory you can imagine attached to him. There he is compared to the G1 counterpart. This is a pretty close look at his gun right here. It has this piece sticking out, which is, you know, it's okay. I guess you could have it tilt out sideways like that too. But yeah, just really like how this one looks. This one is very cool. Just like it a lot. Alright, so here we have Hook in his alt mode. Looks pretty cool. The only thing is that I can't really get all the wheels to touch the ground, so he doesn't roll too well at all, really. Yeah, I don't know. He has a lot of the robot junk kind of sticking up, you know, underneath right here. So yeah, there's that. But looks very cool. Here he is compared to the G1 version of him. Looks pretty tight. You know, pretty accurate, not too bad. Got a lot of stuff going on in the crane over here. This doesn't actually spin. This moves back and forth, and it does slide out that far, which is pretty cool. That looks pretty neat. He doesn't have the same kind of functioning thing as the TFC Hook. Did I call him Long Haul earlier? I meant to call him Hook. The gun attaches to the side right there, and you can move this all the way up. So that moves up pretty far. And you could rotate this side to side right here. Here he is compared to the TFC Long Haul, or Hook. I don't know why I want to keep calling him Long Haul, but yeah, so this one has a much bigger crane, and you can see how much farther this one rolls out than this guy over here. Look at that. Whoa, that's a big one. And then, like I've shown on this guy, he has the string that you could actually pull in here, and you have this whole, you know, realistic function going on, which I just think is incredible. But, you know, as opposed to the TFC version, this Hook right here is a lot more G1 accurate, so it's not too bad. Another thing is that this is the head of Devastator right here, and Devastator does have two heads, so you can actually switch this out with the other head, and this one would look like that if I were to just plug it in there. So I prefer putting this one there because it has a screen piece on the back, and it just fits in a little bit better. I also like that they added the second canopy section in the back right here. pretty cool. One thing I failed to do is compare it to a Classics figure in its alt mode. So actually I think this is Generations Red Alert right here. And so you can see they're, you know, very much Classics figures. You can't really tell like that, but, you know, very much Classics figure. Deluxe size Classics. Cool. So let's get this second in command into his robot mode. So here's Hook in his robot mode. Looking pretty cool. Looking pretty cool. I like it. He's got a green head. Wow, didn't see that coming. He's got a green head right there. Whoa. So that's the first Constructicon I've seen with a green head, either from Maketoys or TFC. It's kind of a trip. And you can apply his crane on a number of places on the figure right here. There's a tab on the back. He's attached right there. And you could also attach him to his forearms, which is pretty cool. So you can do that on this side right here. Or you can plug it onto this side right here as well. So that works out both ways. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, very cool looking robot mode. I like it. I like what they did on the chest area right here. Very tall. He's just a little bit shorter than Mixmaster right here. Yeah, you know, minus all this stuff on the top. I guess, you know, he would be a little bit taller if you're just to go by the face, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, pretty cool robot mode. I like it. Not bad at all. Here it is compared to the G1 Hook. You can tell that they got the idea of wheel placement and all that. And here he is compared to the TFC Hook. He actually stands taller than TFC's Hook, so that's kind of a trip. The articulation for this guy, his head could look up a little bit, moves down, not really much at all. He moves side to side. He moves up right here, outwards right here. He has no bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows though. You cannot move his wrists. You cannot move his waist. He has hip articulation that move that way, move outward, not really backwards. Upper thigh rotation right there. Strong knee joint, and that's about it. So yeah, pretty cool figure. And last but not least, we have Scrapper in his alt mode. Pretty cool looking alt mode. I like it. I'm having a hard time with the wheels again, so it may just be my you know, lack of abilities here that can get these wheels to roll, so I'm not totally blaming Maketoys for this. But pretty cool looking Scrapper right here. I like how this functions up and down. It's pretty cool. It's got the big canopy right here, which, you know, isn't really too much like the G1 version, but oh well, that always keeps drooping down on me. But yeah, so I think it looks pretty dope. You have this piece right here, comes apart, and you have his gun attached to the side. And here he is compared to the TFC Scrapper. So yeah, this guy's a lot bigger in size, and again, this one has a little bit more movement going on. You can move this in and out as well as up and down. This one you can just move up and down. But yeah, again, I really like this green color, and got this big chrome piece right here, which I don't totally understand what it's for yet. Again, with the stripes. Asshole. Here we go. And here's Scrapper compared to Red Alert again, so I just want to show off how I think these are very much Classics figures, you know. And just like Mixmaster, you can take this thing out right here that, you know, could swing. Ooh, that does come off a little easy, but tab that right back into place, and you can see the tab sticking up right there, and attach this like so. Not the easiest to get on there, but you know, it works. It's got the little trailer thing going on. Oh, came off. Oh well. So Bumblebee, will you please take us into the transformation? So here's Scrapper, looking pretty sick. I like how he looks. This is a very cool robot mode. I like it a lot. He's kind of got a smaller size, a little bit like Bone Crusher, but not nearly as puny looking. I mean, that was just my opinion about the puny looking thing, but I think this is very, very cool robot mode. I like it a lot. He's in good size compared to Classics Ratchet right here. I don't know what the hell's up with that. He's a little smaller than Ratchet. He's just a little taller than Starscream right there. There he is compared to his G1 counterpart. Get a look at the face right here, which I like. I like this face a lot. They could have really used some light piping though. On this figure, it's really hard to see the eyes. I mean, it's really, really dark. See, he's got a metallic looking mouth, and I don't know, it's just really hard to see the face of this figure. It's pretty tricky. It does resemble this G1 look though, and resembles the cartoon. Here's the Maketoys and the TFC Scrappers faces side by side, so that's pretty dope. And you can see the face a little bit better now. I don't know what it is exactly, I can't really pinpoint it, but I just really like how this robot mode looks. Just the design of it and everything. I think just the way these stripes had panned out right here, and you have the red on the sides of his biceps over there, and just the way this, you know, this canopy piece fits in here and having the shovel in the back, I mean, it just looks really cool. Very, very cool robot mode. Probably my favorite robot mode out of all of them. I like this a lot. I just think he's just very symmetrical and very cool looking. He does have a lot of stuff on the back though, and you know, if this was my figure, maybe I'd be able to spend more time with it and figure out how to, you know, conceal this a little bit more, but you know, it's not too bad. Most of the time you're gonna have him facing forward anyway, so you know, you got some barrels right there. It's not too bad. Here's a side-by-side comparison with the TFC Scrapper. So yeah, TFC Scrapper is still a bit taller. The transformation for this one was pretty complicated. I don't know, I thought it was a little on the complicated side, but not terrible or anything. And here's his gun, which I think does look pretty damn cool. So his articulation, his head can't really move back, can move side to side a little bit, but when it moves side to side, it kind of looks down. And he can look down very far due to the transformation. He can't move his biceps up too much, can't move forward too much either. He does have the bicep rotation, or I meant shoulders, you know. He does have a lot of articulation here at the elbow. He cannot rotate on the sides right there on the wrists. He has a little bit of a waist joint, which is cool, so he can rotate a little bit right here and move forward and back just a little bit. He has some upper hip articulation that moves out a lot, moves forward quite a bit. He could bend quite a bit at the knee, and he has, this is a crazy ankle pivot, but it just detaches right there, and it can't move forward and back. It can move like that a little bit, but yeah, that's about it. So here's all 6 Constructicons in their robot modes. So you can see they really do vary in size, especially with Hook and Mixmaster being the tallest of them. And then it looks like we have Bone Crusher and Scrapper look like they're the smallest. But I really like them a lot. I really like Scrapper and Mixmaster a lot. They're all pretty damn cool though. Very, very cool. So let's get all these guys transformed back into their alt modes and into the Devastator form, or their combiner mode. Take us away, sir. So they're back in their alt modes right here, and about to turn them all into Devastator. And my god, you guys, this has been the most complex, difficult review I have ever done. Whether you like the TFC version of this Devastator or the Maketoys version more, it doesn't matter. Both companies are packed full of geniuses working over there. I mean, this is insane. Just the fact that both of them exist is just incredible to me. This is a very, very cool looking figure. Just absolutely amazing. This is just fantastic. So with his legs pretty straight, he stands just about 14 inches, closer to 12 to 13 inches tall, something like that. His head goes up to about 11 inches. One thing that Incline Designs said that he really liked about this is that the treads right here are not part of the forearm. I actually prefer the treads being part of the forearm. I think that's pretty cool because then you won't have these extra pieces right here, but it still looks very, very cool. I like how the gun came out. The gun looks slick, very cool, and a lot easier to transform than the TFC gun. That one's very, very complex, and it's kind of hard to remember, you know, which piece goes where. This one's way easy, and yeah, that's definitely all 6 different guns of the Constructicons formed into one, and that looks very, very cool. I like it, and it does have the function where you could slide these pegs outward, and you can see this Gatling thing kind of come out of there. So I think that's very, very cool. Just want to give one more up and down kind of look. Now, one thing I don't like about this is that there are a lot of tabs. For instance, you know, to get the ankle articulation working properly, there's a little tab in there. It's very hard to get to. I had to use a sculpting tool to press that down and pull this piece out. Same thing over here. It's pretty difficult to get those out. And then at the same time, like connecting these pieces or connecting all of the pieces, you gotta like squeeze 2 tiny little tabs together and then push it in. It helps lock things in pretty well, but at the same time, compared to the TFC Devastator, I don't have a problem with those just, you know, locking into place on their own. Even these parts right here, you gotta squeeze, you know, those 2 tabs right here together and push that in. Locking in Hook into Long Haul is a bit complex, and as you can see right there, it doesn't really work that great for me. I can't really force things together too much because, again, this is not my figure, so I'm not trying to break it at all or anything, but you know, it still works. You can still put it together and it's still very cool. Here's a side view of Devastator. I really like that they did is that they made sure to cover the face, even if it's facing. If you remove this little piece right here, you'll see Scrapper's face, and they did a good job making sure that that was well hidden. There's 2 faces that come with the Devastator. This is the second Devastator head, and as you can see, he does have a little bit of mouth articulation, so you can move his mouth up and down. And then you could actually pull these tabs right here on the sides down. I needed to use both hands, but you can see the visor right there, which does have, it's like a clear plastic, which I think does look a lot cooler. So very, very nice. I like that they gave him both heads. It's very, very cool. The thing I also really like is that you could bend Hook's crane down so that you can have it just drooping down his butt instead of having it stick straight outward like how I had it before. They don't really give you instructions for this, but you can make the crane and parts of his blaster into this really cool axe weapon thing. I have not attempted to build this, but you can if you want to, which looks pretty damn cool. On both of his hands, there's these grooves right there in his palms, and if you take the gun handle right here, it just slides right into place like so. So the articulation of this guy, you can move his head up not too much, you can move it down pretty far, close his jaw, that's just on this head, he moves side to side just fine. So this is on a paw peg, what the hell am I trying to say? He has shoulder articulation that moves outward and forward, so this is outward, forward, like so. He can rotate right here at the bicep. He bends very well at the elbow, which I really like a lot, and he rotates at the wrist. And he does have individual finger articulation, including the thumbs. See the thumb on a ball joint right there, and then each finger moves independently. Same thing on the other side. And then this side's just as mobile as the right side. Well, you can get that moving out this way, move that forward, and same articulation over here. He has a waist joint that moves pretty well. His legs move outward, they move forward, and you can move these flaps around just like on TFC Devastator. You can do that too. So you can see that moving around. Oh, that's coming apart at the waist a little bit. Shit. So yeah, if you try to move the legs around too much, you're gonna dislocate him right there at the waist. But it moves out very far like so, and you can move it about that far. A little bit farther like that, I guess. He bends very far at the knee. I like that. And you have ankle articulation right here on both. You can move his feet down right there on the Mixmaster side. Nope, that's kind of come apart on me. And then he rotates right here, back and forth, and kind of goes forward and back. It's on a ball peg kind of thing. So there we have Giant and Hercules side by side. Again, I really do like the color green on the Giant a lot more than the Hercules, but this still looks very badass. I still like the TFC Hercules more. This guy doesn't have as much green on him, even though I don't like the color green on that guy as much. But still, there's, you know, a lot more black pieces and gray pieces on this one, as opposed to this one mostly being purple and green, as I think he should be anyway. Now, keep in mind, the Maketoys figure is about $350. The TFC Devastator is about $600. So, if you are a Devastator fan and you really want to have a Classics Devastator, I would have to recommend the Maketoys. You're getting your more for your dollar with the Maketoys version right here. Even though I do like the TFC one more, I just like this one a bit more. He's larger, and I like the transformations. He's easier to transform. They're not as intricate. The individual transformations are not as intricate, but they're not stupid simple. This guy right here, the transformations can get really complex, and it's kind of nerve-wracking. But then again, you know, he's a lot more stable with the waist. He's not as top-heavy. This guy's got a much slimmer waist, and his joints are a lot more wobbly. This guy's a lot more stiff and easier to manhandle. It's just kind of fun looking at the two of them. They're so cool. Now here's Devastator compared to Devastator. Or the G1 Devastator compared to the Maketoys version right there. So yeah, you could tell that the colors are very similar. So I really do like this a lot. This is very cool. You know, yeah, this guy does look really cool. I mean, it's a very, very cool looking Transformer. Don't get me wrong. He's awesome. I got to give a big thanks again to Incline Designs for letting me borrow his brand new TFC, or not TFC, but Maketoys Giant. Very, very cool figure. Very, very cool. Thanks so much, man. This is badass. Alright, thanks for watching my long review. I hope you guys dug it. And please hit the like button. This was the most difficult review I've ever done in my entire life, man. So much transforming. Oh my god, all the transforming. I'm sick of transforming figures, but I do love Devastator. Alright, hope you guys dug it. Catch you later. Peace. Here's Mixmaster and whoa, what the hell happened to the camera? Here he is compared to the G1 long haul. Okay. I like the head sculpt on this guy as well. Very cool. Damn it. Where the fuck did it go? There we go. Whatever the fuck that is. Damn it.